Pressing record doesn't make you ready. That's not...
Pressing record is where my responsibility for this podcast starts and ends.
Don't take that away from me.
Interesting things said by uninteresting people. You're hosted by Ben and Tom. Interesting things said by uninteresting people.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Interesting Things Said by Uninteresting People, a podcast where we talk about interesting things so you don't have to.
You're welcome.
My name's Ben, and as always, I am joined by the kitty-pestered half of the podcast, Tom. How are you?
Hello, yeah, I'm good, thanks, man.
Mate, sorry, immediately at crosstalk, but yeah, go on.
Already off to a bad start, thanks to Zoom. I was going to say, I like that intro. Interesting things, so you don't have to.
Mate, it's sticking around because you know what? You can see this. I'm closing my eyes. I've got my fists punched into my thighs. Like, come on, revving up for the show.
Do you like run around the house and slap your face a little bit? Come on. Star jumps, ready to go. Dude, you know, I've had one sip of coffee. I was like, oh, maybe I'll have a coffee. Big mistake already. Immediate 100% mistake. Does it really affect you if you have like a coffee later?
I think it does. Maybe it's just psychological, but I think it does. Yeah, what about you?
I don't know whether it's just a thing that's never happened to me, but if I can have like a tea or a coffee before I go to bed and be fine.
Really?
Like, just doesn't. Even when I'm on long drives, I'm like, right, I have a coffee. Oh, I'm just as fucking tired.
Yeah.
If anything, I'm worse.
Yeah.
Nice warm coffee.
It's weird though, man. I've known a couple of people like that say that you don't get perked up by in fact, I think I remember reading something recently saying that it doesn't actually make caffeine in general doesn't actually make you more awake. It just makes you more anxious.
Mate, I think I must have read a very similar thing. So it was saying it doesn't make you more awake. It just blocks the signal that makes you think it blocks the signal of sleepiness. So you're the same amount of sleepiness. You're just not feeling it. You're
just like, hey, I feel fantastic.
Yeah. But no, I've had it a few times. You know, when you have a coffee on an empty stomach and you feel a bit jittery, it's like, oh, that's probably too much. Yep. I've had that, but never like, oh, I'm bolt upright now.
Sure. I remember I used to go with a mutual friend of ours, actually. I used to, every now and again, we go for a Sunday coffee in like... in this little coffee shop that used to be in town that isn't there anymore. And we used to sit there and drink like 2 or 3 cafetières. And it'd be like, and we thought we were so bad. It's like, oh, I'll try the Costa Rican next. I'll have one of the Nicaraguans, please. Like really, really strong, potent stuff. Ooh. Mate, I used to leave there feeling like I'd been on the piss. Seriously, it made me feel like that kind of weird. Like I had this weird buzz. Like, oh man, have I just been like day drinking?
Did you have a hangover the next day?
Mate, I didn't feel good. I didn't feel good that evening, let alone the next day. Go to bed in the sweats.
Yeah. Claire, is the walls closing in for you or just for me?
Can you stop that grinding noise, please? Whatever it is.
That's amazing.
Dude, what have you been up to? What's been new?
Not much really. Been really busy with freelance work, which has been great. Which has been really really nice. Busy with YouTube stuff as well. It's what they call Techtober, which is probably the lamest name for a month, but it is the month where everyone releases everything, including the Apple event, which is tomorrow. So it's been super busy there. Not that I've been able to cover like most of the new stuff, but it's been pretty full on regardless.
Great.
And yeah, that's about it. How about you?
Dude, I'm all right. In the first seamless segue of the episode, I've been trying to get ready for releasing this EP at the end of this week, on Friday of this week, whenever this goes out. Yeah, man. And it's, you know what? I love making music. I'm super proud of this EP. This isn't an advert. This isn't like sponsored by, hey, Tom, when you want a new EP, where'd you go? It's nothing like that. But just to say, I'm super proud of this EP and I do not miss the life of having to constantly try and promote music online because, man, it sucks balls. It sucks so much balls.
Mate, you've got to say about, because I signed up to your newsletter, as you may have seen.
Yeah, man. Thank you for that. I did see that.
I signed up as the fly that attacked your...
Oh, you know what, dude? I did see that. Oh, man. See, this is the thing, dude. I put on the form, like, look, it asks you for a name. You know what? I could probably take the name off it. I'm not really bothered about what, I don't care.
Yeah.
And so I think I put in there, like, fake names, 100% allowed. The minute I put that, I have not got a single real name signed up on that newsletter. And it's fantastic, man. But, dude, I laughed my ass off. The fly that attacked you. I'd forgotten about that. I think for a couple of the episode descriptions, I carried on writing it as the fly. So I don't know if you even have seen that, but yeah.
Oh, I didn't.
No, man, I just... Like I say, I'm not going to bitch and moan about it too much because this is like something we're always talking about how much, social media isn't the best thing or is at least flawed. Yeah. But man, it's so sucky. It really is. Like but the thing is, you can't not do it if you want anyone to see what you're doing.
Mate, this is the thing I was going to ask you about, because you said in that newsletter that, well, you said it before the newsletter. I can't remember. You said that to actually put your music out on Facebook at least, and you have to, because I remember this when I was in a band, for your actual followers to actually see it, you have to pay.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah. I think this is this is maybe something that fans don't realize. Not my fans. I mean, just people who go on and go, I like this page. Anything from Foo Fighters down to like the guy who plays in the pub. If and other stuff as well, obviously. If you hit like, then that doesn't mean that you're going to see what that page posts. Unless you're like a high interaction fan. If you're constantly liking it, commenting on stuff, then it will obviously show you a bit more. Sure. But if you're just kind of, I just want to keep track of what Goldfinger are up to, then it isn't enough just to like the page, even for those guys, like even for bigger acts. Because, I mean, for example, I'm sure he wouldn't mind me talking about this, but my brother obviously runs the One Man Boycott page for a band, if people don't know. And I think there's about 3,000 people following that page. And we ran some numbers of the reach of the posts that he puts out. Yeah. Versus how much, when Facebook is whenever you make a post, it says, hey, do you want to boost this? Do you want to pay us to boost this post? It's immediate. Do you want to pay money to put this post in front of more people? And we figured out it would be into the thousands of pounds for him to be able to post something that people who said they liked the page will
just
actually
for everybody to see.
Yeah.
Which is insane.
And there is no option on Facebook for you to go, I want to send a message to everyone who likes my page. You can't do it. You cannot do it. You can advertise, and again, you can create an advert, and then it's not guaranteed that it's going to if you've especially got a small audience, you can't say, so dude, it's infuriating in a way if you let it be, if you let yourself be bothered by it. Because, these, like I say, man, I'm not a massive act. I'm not making music that thousands and thousands of people are listening to. All I want to do is tell people who've said, oh, I quite like that, Ben. I want to tell them I've made some more. That's it. Yeah,
and you're not really allowed. See, I'm surprised there's not like a cap on it. Like, okay, so you can get 1,000 likes before you have to start paying for people to see the post, so something like that. But then I guess people just make loads and loads and loads and loads and loads of pages. And
do you know what the sad thing is as well, mate? Is that it's the people who are smaller, maybe less experienced. I mean, I'm not that I'm a massive social media maven or anything like this, but it's the people who've got like 150 fans who are just running it as a bit of a laugh for their local pub band or whatever. And Facebook goes, hey, do you want to boost this post for $5? And they go, oh yeah, sure.
Yeah,
it's because they're not really maybe thinking about it in a business way or in a really analytical way of, hang on, is this actually worth it, or anything like that. So maybe they're the fish Facebook are after.
The worst part about all that sort of stuff is as well, especially with like advertising. I only know about this because it came up on YouTube recently. Is if you do pay to push your post or whatever, if you're pushing for instance, if you decide you want to push your EP to people aged 20 to 30 in our area or whatever like that, it also runs the risk of generating such hollow fans that will like it because it's been pushed to them, and they'll have a look but then forget about it the next day. Yeah. So you might have that extra like or that extra view, but your overall metrics are just dragged down because they're not actually watching it. They're only subscribed, or they only pressed like because Facebook kind of said, oh look, this might be for you. Yeah. It was interesting because someone on Twitter, one of the people that does camera reviews, was featured as a creator on the rise on YouTube, which sounds like a really good thing. You go to the trending tab and there they are. which sounds great, and they're like, quite excited about it. And they were just kind of breaking it down, and loads of like bigger YouTubers are talking in the Twitter comments and saying it's actually not as good as it seems, because you get loads, you do get some more subscribers, but it's not loads more, and they're low quality subscribers.
Sure.
They don't actually, they're people browsing the trending page. If you're browsing the trending page, you're more than likely not looking for something specific. You're just looking to watch whatever's kind of fun and cool right now,
and kill some time while you've got 10 minutes to spare. Yeah, sure.
So you don't actually get the fans that you're trying to generate, which was an interesting little thing, I thought.
And no, dude, this is very true, absolutely true. But what's also interesting with it is that it's saying the example of Facebook. It's Facebook generating all of this. They're pulling the strings on every part of it. They're telling you, hey, you need to pay to promote your page with an ad to get more likes, because more likes means more fans, and that's good, right? But then when the fan sees it, Facebook makes it very easy for them to like. They're like, because they want them to be engaged in pages. So they're going, hey, check out these pages you might like. Even if you don't pay for an advert, sometimes you'll get suggested to people, and it'll say, you should definitely like this. So then Facebook can go to you, see, you've picked up a few new likes. But like you say, dude, they're completely worthless fans in a way. That sounds rude.
Yeah, there's always the chance it does generate some genuine good subscribers / fans / listens and all that sort of stuff. Of course it does. Otherwise, if it didn't work, they wouldn't offer it. But the majority of it probably is this low quality.
Well, dude, I mean, not to sound like a negative Nancy over it, but I know I'm old enough and wise enough now that I'm making EPs for my own enjoyment, and it's great that people are into it, and that's fantastic. I wouldn't never take away from that. Yeah. But I'm also ready for it to be that on Friday it's all going to go live, and it's going to be everyone's going, oh great, like so many likes, say 50 likes, how many plays? 2, 3. Cool, great.
Because you have more than that,
mate. Because that's the way it works. You know what I mean. That's the way it works.
You'll have 50 or 60 on the first track,
and
then
exactly.
It will do a half life for each one.
But do you know how you've talked in the past about starting the Bite Review channel and saying I deliberately don't want friends and family to know about this because it kind of muddies the water too much. It's people who are just going, oh, that's really good, Tom. Like, have you watched any videos? No, I'll watch it next week.
No, I don't need to watch it. I know it's good.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know, mate. I'll be honest, I don't miss it. I know it sounds really defeatist, but that's the bit of this that I really don't like.
It's rubbish. It's really rubbish. I don't, from all the past experiences in bands and all that sort of stuff, I remember in Captive putting money on Facebook posts just to push like gigs and stuff. Yeah. And when you're making such a small amount of money, most gigs, we don't make money anyway. You'd lose it, especially if you're traveling somewhere. So to promote a gig by having everyone put a $5 on it, it just felt so for a small band, felt so mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
Such a mean little give us a $5, cash grab.
Go on, and then we'll tell them.
Yeah.
And do you know what, dude? I mean, I don't know whether you've got a different experience of this, but did that ever make much of a difference?
No.
Exactly, man.
Mate, the only thing we did, which it looked like there was some good metrics, was putting money on a video ages ago.
Okay,
I think we put £50, which back in 2012 seemed like a lot of money, on a video, and it got 5,000 views in a day. I remember reading up, a few days later, that a video play on Facebook counts if you just scroll past it and it plays less than a second.
Yeah,
it will count as someone's press play, and it's such a bullshit metric. It doesn't mean anything. Yeah. Which is why Facebook videos, I don't. When people push stuff through there, I'm just like, why bother?
Well, dude, I mean, again, this is more my brother's experience at the moment, but especially if you're trying to use Facebook to promote a different site, if you're trying to promote a Patreon account or a YouTube channel, especially YouTube, because Facebook just want you to use.
Right down.
Dude, it hates it, absolutely hates it. Yeah, and you'll get. Although, dude, what did I see? Stop. I've got a real nagging feeling of deja vu now, so stop me if I talked about this on the last episode. But there's an artist, Amanda Palmer, who's a musician. She was talking about, she's just released a podcast. She's famous, big enough musicians we're talking about here. And she couldn't figure out why her Facebook post advertising her new podcast was getting nuked in the stats. Like it was, it wasn't getting the usual reach that her post would get. It wasn't getting the usual engagement.
Yeah.
And she said, I could not figure this out until eventually Facebook gave me a notification that it was not breaking grammar and profanity guidelines, but it was nudging up against them, if you like, because it had the word bullshit in the post. And she's going, every criticism that's being leveled at Facebook at the moment about what it'll allow, the fake news it'll allow, the harassment it'll allow, the horrible things it will allow, but Facebook's going, can't show that to people. You've got written bullshit.
It clamps down on that over a white supremacy post or something.
Yeah.
But
insane. Dude, mate, keeping it positive. The EP is really good. Mate, it's the first time that I've recorded and done every step of it myself, and it's actually turned out half decent.
Awesome.
So, mate, it feels really good. I think my last Benji One Long EP was in 2012.
It's 2012, so that's 8 years ago.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Is that the one where you're holding out the
the paper crane? Yes,
crane,
mate.
Yeah,
dude. Always choose in person. Hey, if like I say, this isn't an ad, but it would be remiss of me not to say, if people are interested, it's benjyoneLung.com. Check it out. Do what you like. Live your life. Check it out if you want.
I'll retweet it on the day.
Woo! Fantastic.
You'll see it there if you don't see it from Ben, maybe.
Yeah, man. But no,
I'm sure Dave and Randy will give it a listen, won't you guys?
Yes.
Please.
Fantastic.
Please. There will be a $5 in the post.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks very much. But mate, other than that, I don't enjoy the sort of promotional video side of it. But that's because I try to leave that to you, to be honest.
Right. Well, mate, it does suck. And in fairness, this kind of drags me around to a similar thing. Well, not, I guess vaguely similar thing that is happening on my channel at the moment. I recently uploaded a video, and then I actually took it down, which is the first time I've done that in a really long time, like a really long time. I'm trying to think the last time I actually uploaded. Actually, I might have never done it, because I think if I've ever bailed on a video, I've just never bothered uploading it.
So how long was this video up for?
About 12 hours or something.
Oh, right. Shit. Okay.
Not massively long. I don't know if you saw it. It was basically it was a video about the Galaxy Note 20. And me and Sam filmed a little skit at the beginning where I was trying to, basically it wasn't, despite Vodafone sending it out, and I found it really, super kind of them, super nice. I said to Vodafone in an email, I was like, I don't like this phone. The video won't be particularly praiseworthy of it, but I'll still talk about Vodafone and say how they're great and stuff. So fine. But me and Sam filmed this little skit at the beginning where I can't really figure out how to review it, and it's me looking at the clock, and
I did see this.
And kind of mucking around, and that was really funny. So that was super thanks to Sam for helping with that, because he's always very on the ball if I ask him something like that. He's like, oh, you could do this. So I'm like, that's perfect.
That's right. Yep. Let's do that.
Dude, the worst part is I worked on this video for ages. For a lot longer than I would on a normal video, purely because I was kind of going on and off it and trying loads of different things with it. And I didn't really write a script for it, so I was kind of freewheeling for a lot of it. And I'm not a great freewheeler. I can do it sometimes, but I wasn't really just super clued up on it. So I had to keep looking up specs and looking up, is this right? Am I saying this right? Because it's got, basically the Note 20's got 2 different chips depending on where you live. If you live in the USA, you get a slightly better version of the phone than you do over here. And it's a lot of jargon I had to remember. So I just kind of spitballed it. And then, for the longest time, I was just like, this is shit. I hate this. This is a shit video. It's not anybody's fault but my own, because I didn't put enough time into it. And the reason I didn't put enough time into it is because I knew I wasn't going to like the phone from the first place.
Sure.
Nobody's fault apart from mine. I should have been really blunt and just said, thanks so much for sending it out. I'm not going to make a video on it because I don't like being negative on the channel. I'll send it back. Thanks very much, though. Super, super kind. I'm not trying to step on any.
Please don't. Yeah, please consider me in the future. Yeah, thanks for thinking of me.
Not trying to step on any toes or whatever. But uploaded it, and not that I'm trying to be Billy Big Bollocks at all, because that's really not the case. But usually within the first hour of uploading a video, it will get about 200 to 400 views, depending on how, what the interest is.
Sure.
And it was on 30, and I was like, oh, that's low. And I was like, oh, I'll leave it. You know, I uploaded it at normal time as usual and all that sort of stuff. I was like, I'll just leave it. And then I tweeted it out as well, and the tweet didn't do as well as it normally does, you know, like a few likes. I was like, what happened here? Have I just released it at the wrong time? And then I was checking all the news to see if any other like tech stuff had come out, because that often happens. It can get buried.
Sure.
But it wasn't. I was just like, I went on Google Trends and just typed in Note 20. And it was really low. Like the search for it is just low. The search, because there's two versions of it, as the Note 20 Ultra. The searches for that are really high. The standard Note 20 searches are quite low. So, it was just like a really low viewership, and I didn't like it anyway, and it wasn't doing well. So I was like, do you know what? It's potentially, and, you know, I might be rolling into tinfoil hat land here, but every time when that sort of thing happens, when it gets a really low viewer count, I was just like, is it potentially more damaging to have a poorly viewed video on the channel?
Yeah.
Especially because I wasn't particularly happy with it anyway. And if I see it not get any more views or you know, not, you know, just kind of slowly climb to like the 500s, do I even want that? Because bear in mind, my first video's got more views than that. My first video ever. So it just left it was just like a really weird one. And I think it was just like the interest just wasn't particularly there. And that's nobody's fault. Yeah, sure. So, I just unlisted it. I'm looking at it right now. It's right there. I could just press live again. But there it remains on 312 views. Wow, man. See, so, it's a weird one, mate. That's a mature sort of attitude to take over it, though, isn't it? You know, the idea of this, I need to edit my work. I need to take this back. This isn't serving me. Yeah, mate, I hope so, because, like, I really did and ah about it, and I spoke to Sam about it. It was like, mate, you still made it. All the comments I did get on it were really nice. It's like, you know, you swing and miss sometimes, and that was a miss, and you should, you know, wear your miss proudly. Yeah, and it's like, yeah, fair enough. Maybe I should. So I did debate leaving it for ages, but the more and more I thought about it, the more it just stressed me out. So I was like, do you know what? Big balls to that. It wasn't like a gap in content, you know. If I didn't have anything else, I would have left it there. But I've been pretty consistently week to week basis. So just not having one seemed okay. I suppose the thing is as well, mate, in the kind of videos that you're making where you say they are time sensitive, you know, they are much more relevant when you put them out than they will be relevant in a year's time, for example, on some of them, on stuff like this. Oh, mate, most of them. Well, it's almost like, who are you leaving it up there for? Yeah. You know, it's like people saw it and kind of like, yeah, cool, we got a few views out of it, probably as many views as it was going to get in a useful period of time. Yeah. And it's like, right, on to the next one now. Might as well. No one else needs to see that anymore. So, yeah, very much so. And it's funny because I was speaking to Rachel the other day about how, especially with what everybody does now, and maybe you have an opposite feeling to this. Okay. But the only thing I don't like about YouTube, or the only thing I don't like about making the content that I do make, is there's no end. It's like, that one's done, on to the next one, that one's done, on to the next one, that one's done, on to the next one. There's no like, here's a series I've made and I can put on the shelf and it will be golden for a long time. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, or like 100%, yeah. Or you could look back and go, you know, that set of videos, you know, if it was a documentary or something, you could look back and be like, yeah, they're great. Whereas I don't get that with what I currently do. Well, dude, it's a bigger sense of completion, isn't it? I mean, it's the little mini completion you get when the video goes live. It's like, oh yeah, another good video I'm proud of. Yeah, there we go. But you need to have, like, every now and again, a sense of a bigger project that's been completed, for sure. Definitely. So do you think you feel that with like your EPs? So like, now this is done. Yeah. You're that's completed now, and you can add it to the shelf of the other Bend You One Long stuff. 100%. Yes. Yeah. So that, you see, there's that slight thing which not that I envy, because, you know, if I wanted to do something like that, I could just do something like that. Sure. There is that thing of like, oh yeah, that was great at the time, sort of thing. Whereas if I look back a year's time now, I'm like, fucking hell, I wouldn't do that now. I wouldn't do this now. I don't know. It's just a weird thing to think about. I mean, that is part of everything. You know, you see, like, what was it? Mark Hoppus was tweeting a while ago now, talking about, oh Christ, it was one of the Blink songs off Enema of the State. Yeah. Or maybe it was off one of it was one of their big singles, and he's going, re-listen to this now, hi-hat's too loud.
And it's like, dude, this has made you millions of dollars.
Yeah.
But there's always that urge to be like, nah, you can always look back on stuff you've done in the past and go, that isn't how I'd do it now.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it?
That's normal,
Yeah. I mean, and talking, to round off this section, talking of other video stuff and time sensitivity and all that. I've got a video that's uploaded and is ready to go live. Like, I could just press live on it now and it'd be there.
Oh yeah.
Thumbnail's done, description's all done, video's been done for a day. But it's the Apple event tomorrow, which means
cool.
Tech YouTube will be flooded with Apple, like, well, it will be iPhone stuff. There's new iPhones announced tomorrow. So releasing a video in that time period is particularly precarious because it will get buried. All of the audience that I've got will be looking at iPhone stuff, not at other stuff. Yeah, because the video I've made is on the MacBook Pro 16, which is what I'm using right now. And it's about buying a used one through Amazon. Because buying used stuff like a MacBook's quite a big investment, even though it's used. So it's just a little video about that. But I know, I think I know that it will get buried if I do it now.
Sure, yeah.
So now I've got that was the video for this week, which is done. But now I've got to think of another video for this week, hopefully. So that one can go live next week. But it's funny, now I'm only just realising that sort of stuff, because like, if this was like a year ago, I'd just have uploaded it and then probably wondered why I didn't do so well.
Yeah, sure.
But it's funny understanding those sorts of things now.
It's a weird thing to think, isn't it, man? I mean, I'm not trying to be sort of back to me, but just with releasing music, there would have been a time when as soon as that EP was finished, I'd be like, right, guys, here we go. Cool. It's
going up tonight.
Let's do it. Yeah. And it's not to say that I've used the preparation time wisely, or I've had that much to do. We're not talking like a marketing campaign or anything like that. But sometimes it's nice to sit on what you've made, and even just put like 5 minutes of thought into what is the best way for me to try and show this to people, or to find the people who want to listen to this or want to watch this video. So man, dude, look, get us. We'll get you particularly, man, just with your mature creator hat on.
It's funny. Sometimes I really do think I overthink it. But then when I think about that, it's because that's all I think about.
Yeah, sure.
If I'm not thinking about YouTube, it's something else video related.
Mate, what it reminds me of is we hosted a live gig a long time. I don't know whether you were there. It's just to do with a label. So a few years ago now. And after, I forget who headlined, but after they finished, there was this chap in the audience who was he was a bit drunk anyway, and he was chat away to the guys on the door, like, so I'm having to talk to him, and he was complaining that the band didn't do a longer encore,
right?
And it's like, and it's one of these things that you would particularly never get across to someone in 5 minutes in a pub, particularly not to someone who's drunk and sounds like maybe they haven't got the clearest idea of what they're talking about anyway. But it's like, it's that idea of even if the crowd is going, oh, you should play another song. You've prepared a show. Yeah. Like, you've prepared a show that works in this particular way. You've made this, and you go, no, this is what I've made. And it's like immediately someone's going, no, do something slightly different for me. Go on, just do a bit more. What's the problem? What's the problem with just doing a bit more? It's like,
why aren't you playing more?
It's like, honestly, mate, if I play another couple of songs, it'll be a worse show for it.
Yeah,
and it's that realization, mate. It's that, like, that, just that slight ascension sounds really arsey here, but that slight lifting from the base level of, I'm just gonna show you what I've made, and look, I've made it. Here it is. Why don't you like it? You should be watching it. That slight extra level of thought to go, maybe if I don't put this out on a Tuesday, maybe if I don't put this video out while Apple's talking about new iPhones,
Yeah, exactly.
That's little bit of craft to it.
Mate. I think there's a fine art to it, because some people probably just do that for a job. Is they decide, well, PR stuff.
Exactly,
when does it go live? Who's going to be online? What age demographic is going to watch it, and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. But it's an interesting thing to roll around, especially to decide to take something off that you've worked for so long on. Yeah, and then to be like, do you know what? Nah, it's not the right thing for my channel, or not the right music or whatever.
Sure,
but yeah.
It's like that 15-minute montage of nude photos you posted up a couple of years ago. I was sad to see that go, mate, but
well, after
probably the right decision.
After I got the call from the police, I thought maybe I should take it down.
Dude, speaking of your latest videos, man, that you did one on the iPad, the new iPad recently.
Yeah,
dude, what was that like?
So, when I was talking about I think we were talking about the Pixel last time. I was just saying it was a really great phone, and you can't really go too wrong with it.
Sure.
The iPad is pretty much fits in a very similar place, because the iPad is the only tablet worth buying, in my opinion. And that's, you can be like, oh, Apple fanboy all you want, but honestly, Android tablets have been bad for a long time. They're still bad now. You're not going to get anything revolutionary or cool or like something that changes the game on an Android tablet. You're just not going to get it. Whereas the iPad with iPad OS and all the extra things it's doing with the pencil and things like that, it's, I said that it's a pretty good student computer because it's cheap. Cheap in air quotes, £329 for if you bought a Windows laptop for £300, it's going to be crap.
Yeah.
It's going to be
fair,
outright crap. Even if you bought a Chromebook, it would probably be all right. But the keyboard would be squidgy, the screen would be washed out, the trackpad would probably be bloody awful. It'd probably be fine, but it's the sort of thing you'd be like, oh, it's a very pragmatic. Oh,
exactly.
I got it because I need it. I need it for work. It's not great, but it does the job, and I can watch Netflix on it, and that's fine. But the iPad, is incredibly well built. Has got all these powerful apps that are built for it. The speed and processor and all that is just insane for the price. Bear in mind, it's pretty incredible bit of tech, and because of iPad OS, you can actually do most stuff on it now, which is really cool. I mentioned in that review, it could well be a really great, option for students. If you're a student, you've got a choice. Sure. If I was a student now and they said, "Do you want a Chromebook or an iPad?" I'd probably take the iPad.
Yeah. Okay.
As long as I could have a keyboard with it, do you know?
Yeah.
as long as I could pick up a keyboard, because a Chromebook is only good for. Have you got a Chromebook? I can't remember.
I haven't got a Chromebook. No.
But a Chromebook is basically just Google Chrome. You load up the internet browser and there you go. And
you're away,
Chrome's awesome because you can do loads of stuff in it. Google Docs. You can run Microsoft Word.
Dude, I run the overwhelming majority of my business through apps in Chrome. So we could run most of what we do. Yeah.
Chrome's awesome. But the second you need to do anything that's maybe not online, I don't know if you've used a Chromebook offline, it's pretty crap and useless. If I'm honest.
Sure.
They don't do much about
limited.
it. Yeah, limited is an understatement. But an iPad still has incredible selection of games you can still play, or the screen is actually really decent on it. You can sit there and watch a film and enjoy it for its visuals.
Yeah.
But I don't want to get into a fist fight about it. It's just a really good computer.
No,
and I would say
man.
It definitely dances the line between tablet and computer now.
Yeah.
It's a tablet first, sure, but it does enough computer stuff to be considered a computer.
I mean, this might be an overly specific question, but how do you find it works when you don't have the keyboard attached? Because that is something that always bugs me on tablets, is on-screen keyboards and how that works.
The cool thing, I guess that it depends on who you are, how that works. But on the iPad, you can pinch the keyboard so it goes to a phone-sized one, and you can move it around, and use it as a one-hand sort of tappy thing.
Sure,
and that's actually pretty good, So it feels like you're just typing on a phone, and you can still see a lot of the screen. But if you're going to type an essay, God no, you'd want a keyboard or something like that. But like I said in that review, you can pick up a keyboard for so cheap. The one I listed was £60, but you can pick one up for a tenner.
Wow!
And you get a Bluetooth. It doesn't matter what Bluetooth keyboard it is, as long as it's Bluetooth, it'll connect and work.
Yeah.
So I just think it's considering it's still got Apple Pencil support, which is insane because the pencil is so bloody powerful.
Sure.
It's just a good deal, Arguably, you need the more storage option for an extra £100, which starts dancing the line, because you can pick up a pretty okay Windows laptop for £500.
Yeah, sure.
You know, I think the water gets muddy there. But if you've only got £300, if you're a student, it's £300.
It's not a bad start.
I would potentially pick that over a Windows laptop.
Well, and then keyboards and pencils are Christmas presents and birthday presents.
Yeah, exactly.
Potentially, you know, maybe.
Yeah, but yeah, that's my thoughts on it. I thought it was it's pretty good. It's pretty darn good. I don't think you can really moan much about it.
Hey, sounds good.
Yeah.
Dude, speaking of things that are pretty amazing in the latest generation, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Did you finish watching The Boys?
Oh yeah, finished.
I know there's a bit of a sharp left turn. All right, I'll hold my hands up. That's not the slickest, smoothest tire screecher of a transition. But yeah, dude, what did you think?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I guess we should probably issue a spoiler warning if anyone, because we might as well talk about it properly.
I think so. Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, I mean, okay, if we had like 2 minutes of pre-spoilers to convince people to watch it, it's worth watching. Yeah,
it's just continually makes the case that it's a darn good show in every episode. You know,
it's a kind of like if for people who don't know anything about it, it's like quite a dark, quite a gory series about superheroes who are just dickheads.
Yeah,
and the regular people trying to fight against them in a way, I guess.
But it's not your average like, I'm a superhero, so I'm the best. The stories behind each one is very unsettling and weird and a bit gross, and you know the plot lines that it treads are particularly
very
particularly vile, aren't they? So it's not an average show at all. It's far from it.
No, sure. I mean, we will. Right, we're going to start talking about it properly, so they're probably going to include spoilers as well. Yeah. But if anyone wants to watch it, I would recommend it. And also, you know what? Even with the spoilers, I think it's still worth a watch.
Oh, gosh,
if you happen to be listening to this trapped in the car and you can't get to the stop button or the fast forward button, then hey, buckle up and you'll still enjoy it, even knowing a few things. But yeah, man, this new series was, I would say, better than the first series.
It's just, it felt, it didn't feel like a second series in a good way. It felt like it just carried on.
Yeah,
which is what I like, where there's no like clear definition, like that's a season 2 thing. This is a season 1 thing. But there is lots of that. Like they've got a bit of a base in this one, don't they? And
exactly. It's like the characters are already developed. It's like a second half of a first series where everything's sort of set up.
But yeah, no man, I absolutely loved it. What did you think of Stormfront overall?
So it's that new character Stormfront. Yeah, I thought she was very relevant to the real world today.
Super relevant.
Scarily relevant.
Mate, I absolutely loved her character. I thought she was great.
Dude, the line that summed up what I loved about it and what I loved about how it paralleled a lot of stuff in the world today is I think it's maybe even in the last episode where she's saying, hey, people agree with what I think. They just don't like the word Nazi.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's about right. Yeah, that's probably about true for a lot of things.
Mate, I'm sure you would have clicked on as well when you saw that. But what I think is in a very similar location is she's talking to Homelander's son about they're trying to wipe out the white race and that sort of thing. And Homelander for the first time just looks at her like, what the fuck are you on about?
Yeah, like a little bit of that doesn't seem right.
Yeah. I think it's the first time he's shown a bit of humility, a bit of like, no.
Yeah, a bit of uncertainty.
That's quite far off the mark.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that was great. His Homelander's character just got more complicated in this season. I really liked that about it.
Dude, he's such a good character, man. Such a good thing to watch.
He's so interesting. Like his backstory and his problems, man. He is messed up.
Yeah.
He's got deep, dark problems hiding away in there.
Mate, I have a feeling we might have talked about this aspect of his character before, but the guy, I can't remember the name of the guy who plays him, but the way he holds his mouth, the way he holds this, it looks like he's constantly having to restrain himself from killing everyone in the room. Like, I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you any minute now.
Mate, that scene is a scene in like one of the I don't know, maybe just over midway through, where he imagines just lasering this crowd of people. And I thought it was happening because it's the boys. I just assumed that was happening.
Yeah, exactly, man. Yeah.
And you can tell he's really holding himself back from actually doing that.
Yeah. Dude, but, I liked the Deep's storyline in this as well. Because
he's so pathetic now. Dude, I love it.
But this is the thing, man. I saw someone summed it up, and I guess I didn't kind of pick up on this, but this was because it maybe would affect women or stand out to him more because of what he does in the first series and why he's exiled. All the sort of sexual predator kind of stuff. And she was saying, I love the fact that however much he seems to have changed, or says he's changed, the series is like, no, fuck you. There's no forgiveness here. Like you're not going to get any kind of redemption at all. You're still going to get shit all over for what you did.
Yeah, they've really put him in the bottom of the bin.
Yeah.
He's really down there. And you think towards the end he's going to get back or that sort of thing, and he doesn't. Yeah. He really is the loser of the cast.
Yeah. I like it, dude. Every one of those characters is so well fleshed out without beating you around the face with it,
Yeah, definitely. It was awesome. I thought the even Queen Maeve, who like went and just fought Stormfront at the end, I was like shocked when she came back, but then I thought, do you know what? That's probably about bang on right.
Yeah, sure.
Because they were getting their asses kicked a little bit by Stormfront, and she came out of nowhere. I was like,
hey, here we go. Yeah. Well, dude, I mean, it's just a good exercise. The whole series is just a good exercise in seeing how far you can push people with being shitty to them until they will stand up and go, hang on, no, we're not. Like with all the stuff about her being bisexual, where the film studio is like, no, this is great. We're going to really kind of like make it obvious that that you're such a caring character and you're living such a difficult life. Yeah, man. And dude, even the kind of gentle piss take of, do you remember in Infinity War, a lot of people had a problem with the scene where all the women show up together. Like the big battle, and then I mean, I don't really have a problem with it. I understand the criticism of, oh God, come on, like you're just trying to, you're trying to make it really obvious. Like, could you be a bit more subtle here about what's going on? So I kind of get that from a storytelling point of view, I suppose. But the way they're trying to almost take the piss out of that, like with the whole girls get it done, look, we're deliberately going to show you that we value females in this, Yeah,
man. It takes all that stuff and like makes it gross and nasty, doesn't it?
Yeah. But in a way that, I don't know, in a way that,
it's a good
that really parallels it. Yeah.
It's brilliant. I also don't know if you noticed, but once Queen Maeve came out, all the like chocolate bars and all that sort of stuff you see in the background, like all the advertising stuff, everything with her on it had like a big rainbow in it and stuff like that. You can see how they just lean straight into it.
Dude, it's sickening, man. It really is. Yeah. But this is the thing. This is what's great, is that if you don't pay too much attention, it just looks like a gory old show where people get lasered in half and exploded and have their arms blown off.
Yeah. Mate, I must admit, the end where Homelander's clearly decimated all those security people that came to that house.
Dude.
He just steps out and he's coated in blood. Like, it was such a good like visual scene of like just where his brain's at the moment.
But dude, mate, half of that is his expressions, that he's just his face.
Yeah.
Where it's that kind of he's really unhinged, dude. But not in like a I'm enjoying this psychopathic supervillain kind of way, but in a really kind of twisted, messed up. Oh, dude, it's just so real. That's what it is. It's just so real.
Yeah, mate. I think the other crack that showed in him a little bit as well is when Stormfront's like saying, "Oh, then we can finally be done with all the parades and ticker tape and all that sort of stuff." Yeah, and even that, he looks at her a bit like, "Well, no, I like that stuff.
That's the only thing I've got."
Yeah, that's the only thing I've enjoyed for my whole life, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought Stormfront's demise was pretty grim as well.
I know, man, I know. And dude, and I don't know if you picked this up, but she's still around, which is, I think, is a good thing. Yeah. She's not quite gone yet.
I assumed she wasn't going to die from that. She's pretty hard, isn't she?
Yeah. Well, dude, in there, I might be getting this mixed up, and I am way too lazy to look it up. But she's, I think the character's male in the comics, and he's got like a patch over one eye. So when she got that knife in the eye, I was like, oh yeah, come on then,
there it is, yeah,
there it is.
Yeah, it's I knew it's a guy in the comics, isn't it, who's like a full-on Nazi.
Yeah, he's basically, yeah. I mean, it maybe leans a bit heavier into that, but it's basically the same character. Yeah, like grown up in the Nazi Germany and all the rest of it.
Yeah, super interesting. It was. I was actually quite shocked when the mum died.
I know.
Didn't think that was going to happen.
No,
really cool.
man. Although I guess it is the kind of show where you don't need ties like that in a way, because it's not about their motivations from a family point of view. It's about them. It's about their relationships.
Yeah, mate. I thought the ending was great as well. When really will spoil the territory here. When the Congresswoman or whatever turns out to be the soup. Me and Callie were like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, dude. Oh,
that's a great way to finish.
What I love about it, though, I mean, it's got a third series, so this is maybe a moot point, but it almost finished. If it had have just finished at the end of series 2, you go, yeah, cool, everything's wrapped up enough.
Yeah, I did think that because it wrapped up a lot of ends and stuff, didn't it? It showed a lot of people getting on with their lives.
Yeah. And like you were saying, how it feels like an extension of the first series, I think it wraps up a lot of, like, the first 2 series have a general arc that's wrapped up in a more general way as well, not just the series 2 stuff.
Yeah, definitely. And no, mate, it's such a great show, isn't it? I couldn't recommend it highly enough. It's worth getting Prime for, isn't it?
Oh, dude, 100%. Yes.
It's their Stranger Things. It's the closest they've got to
I'd say so.
A headline series that's properly good. Like you'd be missing out if you didn't watch it.
Yeah, definitely.
Mate,
people should definitely get on it.
I'm so happy. Well, I say so happy. I'm really glad that like Netflix and Amazon and Apple have managed to pull off like decent, proper good shows.
Yeah.
Because when I remember when Netflix originals first came out, I was a bit like, oh, the films are still a bit dodgy.
Sure.
But the series are always fantastic. I don't know how they do it. It must be just throwing money at the right thing.
But not to sound like a broken record, because I know we've talked about this before, but I just hope they don't fall foul of the whole, well, why would we make series 4 of The Boys? Because no one's getting Amazon Prime for series 4 if you haven't got it for series 1. So I don't know. It's because obviously with Netflix cancelling everything after series 2 or 3, because it just doesn't bring them in any extra money.
Yeah. No, it's interesting.
Fingers crossed.
Let's hope so. I'd be happy if they get a solid 5 seasons. That'd be great.
Oh, that'd be good. And you know what? I really, for this show more than many others, I really hope that they know they're going to stop it. So they go, right, 4th series is the last, or 5th series, this is the last one. It's all going to be wrapped up. Yeah, and go into it knowing what's happening. Yeah. Because I would hate to have any kind of cliffhangers, because it's such a good, mate. This is one of the few shows, and I think they did the right thing this time round. What was it? Three episodes released originally, and then one every Friday.
Yeah.
Dude, it was the first show in a long time where I've been going, I really wish there was more than one of these a week. I could watch many of this. We
were similarly disappointed. I was like, three episodes is great to start with, because we usually watch like 2 in a night.
Yeah,
but then maybe watch one the next night. But I was gutted. It's like, okay, we'll wait a week now for it to come out.
Dude, I'm not used to that kind of thing anymore. I thought we got past that.
Mate, and the thing is, I can't help but feel like it's a bit like, well, you need to keep your Amazon Prime for at least a couple of months. Because it'll be out. Yeah. Maybe people do just sign up for that month, then cancel and just watch the whole, and maybe binge the show.
It's possible.
No, mate, Boys is wicked. I think anyone that's watched it just loves it.
Yeah, I don't think... Yeah, actually, that's a really good way of putting it. I don't think I've seen anybody who's watched it and has said, nah, not for me. Wasn't into it.
Me either.
Dude, awesome. Speaking of good things that have been on the old streaming services recently, I know you haven't watched this, but that David Attenborough documentary is fan-bloody-tastic, mate.
Cool, go, mate. Let's talk about it, because I've only heard that it made people upset.
And it should, and it really should. It's such, it's okay. A Life on Our Planet. It's on Netflix. It's, I think, an hour and a half ish. It's a one-off documentary, like a longish documentary, and it's just David Attenborough talking about the way the world has changed through his lifetime of being a naturalist and making documentaries and what have you. I mean, it starts with him. I think was he born in the 30s? Obviously, because he's 90. Yeah, he's 94 now. And so, so we're talking, he was making documentaries very, very long time ago. And even just to see some of the first few documentaries he was making, firstly, it's interesting watching that in this documentary, because you kind of, it inspires a bit more wonder for when that sort of thing was new and people didn't know where the Galapagos Islands were, and they didn't know what life was like in the Sahara, or in Borneo. And so he could actually bring completely fresh things to people and say, have you ever seen a rainforest before? Because this is what one looks like. Have you ever seen glaciers before? I can show you this,
Yeah, check it out.
So, so that's kind of cool. But the overarching theme of it is the idea of climate change and of population decline. And the way he specifically puts it is it's reducing biodiversity in the world. So, sure. The number of species on the planet are reducing. I think humans and the meat we eat make up 96% of mammals on the planet by mass, by weight.
Bloody hell.
Yeah. He's saying we've turned this into a planet run by humans for humans.
Yeah.
And as we go through his life and you kind of check in with different documentaries that he made a little bit, and he talks away, every now and again it shows the stats for that year, and it's like the global population, the parts per million of carbon dioxide in the air, the wilderness percentage, the percentage of the planet that's wilderness. And it just drops and drops and drops, and the situation is getting worse and worse and worse. I mean, we've got maybe, I think when he first started, there were just over 2 billion people on the planet.
Oh my God,
so I mean, we've tripled that.
He is that old.
Yeah, dude, yeah, exactly, man, yeah. But in one person's lifetime, we've more than tripled the number of people on the planet. And we've halved the amount of wilderness. Obviously, the amount of CO2 in the atmosphere is going up and up and up and up.
Sure.
And I can see why people would get scared and angry and find it a difficult watch, because he's saying, look, we are destroying this planet. We're destroying the animals' habitats. And he sort of links it to how it's affecting us as well. It's not, but it's never kind of banging the drum. It's never really in your face, like, look, it's not what do you call, like a Jeremiah, where it's not just painting a doom and gloom picture of the way you think the world's going to go.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, the last half an hour of it is him talking about ways that we can help this or what we can do. Yeah. And some of it, man, I sound like I'm just doing like a poor rendition of everything that was in this documentary now, but one of the things he mentions is to do with fishing. And he's saying, look, if we just zoned off maybe a third of the world's ocean as no fish zones, so the fish can go there and be like a font of fish from these areas. He's saying that would give us an excess of fish, more than we need in the remaining 2/3. We would not be able to fish all of it from those remaining 2/3. We wouldn't be able to eat it all if we just zoned off a third of the oceans and said, look, that's where the fish can be safe and breed. And, we don't disturb them there. And once that's what they spill out, he says, and this is proven, this has been demonstrated around Indonesia, maybe.
Yeah.
He's saying this works. This is a strategy that absolutely works, and we will not do it. He's talking about reforesting different areas, and it just will not happen. Because, I mean, dude, we don't have to make this into a whole podcast about climate change and saving the planet and everything. But man, it gets me so infuriated where like the science is there and the evidence is there. And you go, look, this is happening. It's happening already. Not just the planet getting warmer, because that's like the main headline issue. But the idea that we're killing off different, animals around the world, we're destroying habitats and losing animals and losing species, losing cogs in the machine all the time. And people get shown this, and we go, nah, not really going to do anything about that, mate. Not going to change anything.
Yeah, man, it sucks because I think a lot of people feel, and I probably feel in a similar fashion. You watch something like that, and you'll feel bad, but you'll have this thing in the back of your head. It's like, well, what can I actually do to change it? Unless you had the drive to be like, a politician, i.e., president of the United States or another country that's equally as powerful, how on earth how can you make the difference? I'm sure if it only takes one man or one woman to make the difference.
This is the thing, man. I understand. I understand that feeling, because it's right. You do feel a bit alone and a bit kind of, but then someone made a really good point. They were like, well, why not litter then? Why don't you just throw your chocolate bars on the ground? Why don't you? And they were joking around, like saying, "Oh, why don't you just go and punch that guy in the face?" Because there's only one guy. Yeah. You're only one guy. He's only one guy. What difference is it really? Why don't you throw your bottles on the street? Because it's only you. It's like if we can have a positive impact by not doing stuff like that, then we can. It's a gentle positive impact, isn't it? And dude, definitely. I mean, one of the things he says, again, I'm not that guy when it comes to reducing your meat eating. I eat less meat. I don't not eat meat, but I'm certainly not the guy to stand on a soapbox and encourage everyone, and be like, you shouldn't do this. But the bottom line is that is one thing you can do, because he talks about this as well, saying about it's not just the greenhouse gases from the farming, it's the amount of water you use, the clean water that goes into like a burger that you eat. It's hundreds of gallons of water to give you one steak to eat.
It's mad, isn't it?
It's absolutely mental, man. It's so crazy. And then, of course, the stuff those cows and the cattle have to eat has to be grown somewhere. So that's some other forest that has to get knocked down to grow these soybeans to feed to the cows, which you shouldn't feed to cows anyway.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, man. It's really, one of the worst things about it is how daunting it is from all the different moving parts that need to change. But, anyway, but to try and rein this in, it's a good documentary. It is, for all of that, like with all that being said, it is genuinely a really good documentary.
Fair enough. I should give it a watch, really. I will try, I'll try my best to convince myself to watch.
Yeah. Well, dude, there was one last thing that I wanted to mention in this episode, and it's only a short little nudge towards it. But if you want a slightly more positive documentary to watch, check out My Octopus Teacher on Netflix. And this is a real genuine, I'm recommending this to you, Tom. It's a good thing to watch. It's about, just real quick, it's about a South African guy in South Africa as well, who I think he's in media. He maybe made films. It doesn't dwell too much on his personal life, but he says that he had a bit of a rough time.
Sure.
And he went for some self-healing for swimming around in the kelp forests in the ocean. Yeah. And he says that one day he just found this octopus and just decided, what would happen if I went back every day? I wonder what would happen if I went to visit this octopus every day. Yeah. And octopus is apparently as intelligent as like dogs and cats. So over the next few weeks, over the next few months, he makes mates with this octopus to the point where it's coming to him for cuddles. It'll come and like swim up to his chest and kind of stay on his chest, and he'll sort of stroke it and things. Dude, it's a gentle watch. It's not, there's a bit of threat in it, like he thinks the octopus is hurt and all the rest of it. But honestly,
thinks the octopus cheating on him.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, right, yeah. No, honestly, man, it's such a nice watch because it's just a gentle. Well, he says like one of the things that he liked about making friends with Octopus was that it reconnected him with nature. It reminded him that he is part of nature and all the rest of it. It sounds very hippy dippy, man, but it's a really great documentary.
Oh, awesome! I'll give it a watch.
High recommend. And if you don't like it, then just forget that I ever said anything about it. But yeah, man, it's really good. It's really cool.
That's awesome.
Dude, I think that might be the show.
Is that it?
I think that might be everything.
I was just checking my to-do and seeing if there's anything else on there, but I think that might well be it.
Mate, we nailed it. Oh, that's another slam dunk from the It's But Boys. It's But Boys.
That's another multi-million...
Mate, that's my new hashtag now. It's But Boys.
It's the It's But Boys.
If you have listened this far, then hey, thanks very much for listening. And I guess tell people about it.
Pat yourself on the back for getting this far.
Yeah. You grit your teeth. Done. You got through another episode. Well done. Thanks to you. Thanks to Tony Thaxton for our theme tune. Thanks to you, Tom, for another social engagement that is podcasting.
That's quite right. I'd extend the same thanks to you. Cheers, mate.
Thank you. Where can people find you online if they want to say hello?
It's at Bite Review, goddamn everywhere, Ben. But where can they find you? They
can find me just by looking for Benji Wanlung and benjiwanlung.com for the EP. Check it out.
Check out.
It's coming out on the 16th.
16th.
Yeah,
if this is out.
Sign up for the newsletter, because fuck social media.
Sign up with a fake name like Ben's a twat.
Yeah, please do. You know, I would love to have 50 Ben's a twats right there on the mailing list. And I'll tell you when I release the EP, and you'll get some cool stuff. Anyway, it's not an advert, sponsored by.
Hi,
Anyway.
Ben's a twat.
All right, we'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.